Town movers, in my opinion, are the best. That's Around Town Movers. Call them.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to Locked and Loaded. I am Roger B. This is America's Web Radio, and we're going to talk about guns and conflict and preparedness and training. And to my right is my special guest host, Victor Armendariz from the On Point with Victor show.
I'm refusing to leave.
That's okay, because I remember you talking about if you stand behind Clinton, I'm thinking, that's fine, but just don't let Clinton stand behind you.
You do not want Clinton standing behind you. No. You don't want Biden behind you, for that matter, unless you need a good hair sniffing.
Yeah,
if you need to know if your hair smells.
Want to see if your shampoo's working?
Yeah, stand in front of Biden. If you want to know if your body wash is working or if your deodorant is all right, stand in front of Biden. He'll let you know.
Oh, poor Biden. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm going to start off today with some good news. It's not necessarily gun news, but more preparedness news.
Good news is gun news.
In Beverly Hills, they had a Trump/America/patriotic rally. Over 400 people showed up to a park in Beverly Hills, peacefully marching from West Hollywood to Beverly Hills.
Wow.
I know. And they were reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. They were singing pro-American songs. They were waving American flags. Completely peaceful. They were marching to protest against violence and destruction and burning and looting and murdering.
Wow.
And the anti-fascist anti-American fascist, what, Antifa, whatever they're called.
Biden voters.
Yeah, I don't know. And the anti-American fascists.
Yeah.
That's what I call them, because there's no way they're anti-fascist.
They're not anti. They are the epitome of fascism.
Anti-American fascists.
So they're anti-American, is what they are.
And the police said it was calm, it was peaceful, and it was organized by a place called the Walk Away Foundation. Said the rally is to speak out against destruction of property and lives and the villainization of law enforcement. And chanting "Walk Away." You know, we all know what walk away means. It means give up on the Democrats because they're just going off the left-wing deep end of God knows where. But anyway, so this is a peaceful protest. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the burn, loot, murder, anti-American fascists show up to counter-protest.
I want to... this is a counter-offer. Okay. This is what we lawyers call a counter-offer.
Yes, because there's a BLM street painting at Hollywood and Highland, miles from the Beverly Hills scene, but they supposedly fistfights broke out between the two groups. Now, granted, you're thinking, okay, you go to a rally, a peaceful protest, you're pretty sure everyone there's feeling the same way. You're not going to have any issues until the burn, loot, murder crowd shows up to decide to let's cause some violence, let's burn something, let's loot something, let's start some fights.
Yeah.
Now, this is crazy because in California, I don't think gun permits are even allowed or extremely rare, so you can't arm yourself necessarily. But in something like this?
But the politicians can.
Oh, absolutely. We'll get into that in Chicago in a minute. Yeah. Yes. One individual was sprayed with a substance. Who knows what that could have been. Yeah, anyway. And after this, of course, the people started fighting and arguing, and, they started trying to disrupt the peaceful demonstration of American patriotism.
They want to take a real constitutional right of peaceful assembly and make it into a burn, loot, murder.
Anti-American fascist, yes. So then, of course, they had to break it up because the police said they're going to stop the whole thing from going on because it was getting out of hand, and they were going to stop the rally from going on. So this reminds me clearly of, let's call it Nazi Germany, Mussolini's Italy, the brown shirts, the black shirts.
The black shirts.
Anyone who goes to an opposite political rally just to cause trouble and start fights and make them seem like they're violent is exactly what fascists do.
Exactly.
That's the fascist playbook. It was designed in the 30s, as far as I know, and they're still using the same book today.
They're the epitome of fascists, and it's like I said before, Roger. If all you have to do is you don't have to look at the history of Marxism and communism and socialism. Look at the tactics of Marxism, socialism, and communism, and you will see what the Democrats are using today, or Antifa.
And it's sad because these guys had a peaceful rally going on. There was that singer from Venezuela was there, and they showed her hugging one of the cops.
Wow.
Because, who wouldn't want to hug her? She's really cute.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just saying.
But anyway, it was all peaceful. It was all laughs and smiles. There was no damage going on. And I bet they were even using trash cans. Because they're protesting against destruction, against problems like this.
I guarantee you they wouldn't have left a mess.
Now, if you find yourself at a peaceful rally and all of a sudden BLM protesters break in and start messing around, what do you do? If you're there with your family, I suggest you hightail it out of there as quickly as possible and avoid conflict.
Well, I have an idea. I think let's say that we go to a peaceful protest, let's say we're going and we're standing up for America, I think we should arm ourselves with tranquilizers. And when Burn, Loot, Murder shows up and Antifa shows up and they start throwing rocks at us and they make the first move, they get aggressive, then we simply end it by deploying a few tranquilizers. We could drop them and they'll just wake up later.
Or just tag them with a tag for the police to come pick them up and charge them with a crime. This guy was violating civil rights. This guy was assaulting people with deadly weapons. Just tag them. I'm
dead serious. With a low dose of horse tranquilizer, you can drop somebody at the prick of a pin, and we can. And when they throw a Mazel cocktail at you, you just drop them with a tranquilizer. Put a little note. This douchebag tried to hit me with a brick. This douche tried to hit me with a rock. This douche tried to shoot me. This douche tried to put me on fire.
Because it's a delicate situation. Because you can't use deadly force.
It's not deadly force.
No, I understand that, but you have to be careful about using deadly force in a situation like that because.
Which is why I'm promoting tranquilizers.
Of course, then again, when you throw a big enough rock at somebody, that can be considered a deadly weapon.
All right.
But you got to consider, would a jury consider that or not?
Well, again, who's throwing the rocks? This is Antifa and say, I am just merely saying, giving a way to peacefully put down the rioters, the Burn, Loot, Murder, the Antifa. When they come after you, I'm giving you a peaceful way to drop them right where they stand.
Yeah. There was a question posed today on one of the...
a healthy way.
One of the sites I follow, they said, okay, the Burn, Loot, Murder crowd comes into your neighborhood. They're chanting, they're yelling through bullhorns. Someone throws a Molotov cocktail in your neighbor's driveway. It explodes there and starts burning on the driveway. What do you do? How would you prepare for that? First of all, I'm thinking, well, depending on the neighbor, I'll decide whether or not to grab my fire extinguisher. But other than that, I'd say you just hunker down in your house, maybe grab something, get prepared just in case they do decide to march up your driveway or throw something at your house. Because, at what point is it considered deadly force? If they try and set your house on fire with you in it,
now see,
I would consider that
is a
deadly
whole
attack.
Different story. If they ever move to the suburbs, well, we already see examples, Roger. There's video, and anyone can go look it up, of Antifa and BLM outside somebody's apartment building, screaming at some people on their balcony, telling them, "Come down here, come down here." Black people used to own that.
Right.
They're threatening homeowners, they're threatening apartment dwellers. So if they get to the point where they come over and that's
and the police are not charging people with verbal abuse though yet. Even though they're terroristic threats, they're not charging them with it.
Well, what I'm saying is they've already started, and if they're starting to verbally abuse outside of someone's home, what happens next?
How far will they go? What's the next step?
Yeah, are they going to throw the cocktail through your window of your home? That is a deadly threat. That's an attempted murder. And at that point, I'm saying
hell.
You need to be prepared. Whether you're prepared with armament, as we are in some great states.
There are some states that do not allow body armor.
Yeah, well, you need to be prepared, and whether it's of the lead variety, the paintball variety, the tranquilizer variety, you're going to have to fight.
Some sort of,
you're gonna have to
non-deadly
fight.
force.
There is no flight. If you flee from your house, you're going to lose your house. So at some point, we have to stand up.
And that's
we're not
when you need to be prepared.
Allow.
Like I say, I have a fire extinguisher, 2 of them on every level of my house because I want to be prepared. This is the kind of thing Are you prepared in case this happens to you? Do you have more than one fire extinguisher in your house if they do start trying
If
to
they
set it
do
on fire?
yeah, 'cause you're gonna
Can
need
you
it.
stop it from burning your house down?
Yeah, your water hose isn't going to do the trick.
Well, on the driveway, maybe it would.
Yeah,
But then you have to be out there.
inside the house.
If they throw
is
them
where you
inside the house, though.
that's what I'm saying, because
man.
they aim for windows. They
Oh,
try
yeah.
and throw things through windows, and you don't have time to board your windows up. So you
Yeah,
better
'cause a
have
lot
some
of these
fire
things are
extinguishers on
spontaneous.
hand. I
Yeah,
mean,
a lot of
you
these are
got to.
spontaneous events.
And designate in your home who's going to grab the fire extinguisher, who's going to put down the fire while you put down suppress fire at the agitators, at the people who are
At the attackers.
The attackers.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's we laugh, but I'm dead serious.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it came down to it, I mean, you have to consider these possibilities. I mean, most people think, oh, it's it happens in big cities, it happens in other places, it doesn't happen here. It's not something we ever have to worry about if we're in a small town. But apparently,
Yeah, they keep saying.
they keep saying they're going to come to these small towns, and a couple of times they have. And a lot of these small towns have stood up and
Yeah.
gathered numbers
And-
much
yeah.
greater than them and held them at bay and said, if you do anything violent or anything out of a peaceful protest realm, we're going to put you down right here and now.
Right
You're going to get
here,
arrested.
right
You're going
now.
to jail right here and now.
And something
We will
tells me
not
that
tolerate that.
if they do start moving to the suburbs, I got a feeling it's going to be the suburbs of Portland or some massive blue city like New York and Chicago.
You would think so.
That would be the
However,
place. But
Apparently, this weekend in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
yeah, look at that. But Wisconsin is run by Democrats also.
Right,
So
but
it doesn't
still,
surprise
I mean,
me.
you don't think
But
Kenosha is a hot
look-
spot of
yeah.
liberal craziness.
and look what they're doing. They're burning that city. That little town is on fire.
Literally, yeah.
And they don't
tore
even
down
have
a
the
dinosaur.
facts.
They damaged a library, a church, even a post
And
office.
a car dealership.
That's right. I saw.
And
that
this
picture. It looks
car
like 100
dealership
cars
and
burned
this
there.
and this is tell me this isn't poetic. The dealership on their sign didn't have buy a car today, get one free. It
Trump
didn't
2020.
Have, it didn't have Trump 2020. It didn't have buy one get your second 50% off. It didn't have employee discount for everyone. No, it had Black Lives Matters.
and that's the car dealership.
And go
they
look at that
burned
car
to the
dealership
ground.
today. It is in ashes.
Yep, they burned every.
burned
I
it
saw
down.
the aerial view of that.
Yeah.
Burned every car in the parking.
Burned it down.
That's insane.
Burned it down. So
don't think
that's
just
poetic
because you have a
justice to
yard
me.
sign that they're going to not come after you.
Yeah. You think your yard sign that says Black Lives Matter is going to stop burn, loot, murder from coming to your home? Please.
Not a chance.
They're going to look at your home and go, well, clearly they don't have a gun
Yeah.
because they're probably Democrat. And they're going to go right to you. They're not going to choose a home like mine or Rogers first.
Well, I mean, would they know?
guarantee you
That's the
that.
thing. I mean, they're not going to know. I wouldn't advertise that I have weapons.
I don't advertise it either, but
The one or
you
two
can-
that
you
survived
can-
the
you
boating
can-
accident.
Yeah, you can. It's funny, but if they ever do come out to places like where we live in red suburbs, then they're in for a rude awakening.
Now that's something that I was going to consider too. Is our neighborhood has a little monthly cookout thing they do, and I was going to start asking some of the neighbors if they have a plan.
Yeah.
If protesters were to come into our actual neighborhood, do any of the neighbors have any kind of plan? Would they plan on getting together? Would they try and hold them at bay? Would they try and repel them out of the neighborhood? Or would they just kind of everybody sit in their own house and wait for something to happen? Or would they hope they'd pass through peacefully without causing a disturbance?
Oh, I guarantee you there'd be probably a couple in every neighborhood that thinks, oh, well, we're going to be the what do you call them? Peaceful, non-violent,
Meditating, tree hugging, vegetarian,
Yeah,
vegan.
there's going to be a few of those, and then they're going to come running to next door for begging for help.
Yeah, with knowing if they
You
know.
It's not a bad idea to get within your neighborhood and be prepared
For
be
something-
prepared individually first,
Right.
and then be prepared as a community. There's nothing wrong. That's just smart.
Yeah, I mean, have somebody available. If you're not home, have somebody who's willing to stand up and protect your property as well,
yeah.
as if it's their own.
I mean, until I get my RoboCop 2000 who can man the house while I'm gone, then yes, we need neighborly help.
That's right. But I wonder, that would be something to consider. If you're in a HOA or you're in a big neighborhood with an active community there, talk to some neighbors and try and, first you got to figure out who might be like-minded. Because you're going to have some people go, oh, they would never come here. I have a Black Lives Matter sign in my yard.
Oh yeah, you're going to have the pacifists who think their sign
Is
is
gonna be enough to
going to be
protect them.
enough to prevent.
They wouldn't bother us.
They're going to be the first
We're
targets.
with them. Yeah, we believe everything they believe. They wouldn't bother us.
Yep.
And then you're going to have the other, the other neighbors who know, yeah, even though I'm going to hope for the best, I'm going to prepare for the worst.
Absolutely.
And people close by should get together and have a plan just in case. Can they keep people? I imagine if these, I keep air quoting, peaceful protesters,
Peaceful, yeah.
because they're not. But if they come to a neighborhood, would they start turning up a street if there was 6 or 10 or 20 guys standing there holding weapons, not necessarily pointed, but holding weapons,
Right.
saying, the street's closed right now, you need to go another way? Would
Well-
they avoid the confrontation, or would they
Or
just
would
get
they-
in there and start screaming at faces, start egging somebody on to try to get shot?
Look, most of these people are like they're like a house built on toothpicks. They're going to crumble at the first sight of resistance.
Now that's something where I think rubber bullets or beanbags.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into
Yeah.
those yet,
Yeah.
but that would be a very
It's
good way.
A good first way to give the warning. Fire
Right.
the warning. Look, I love beanbag loads for shotguns. Love them, and that's a good thing to have, because if somebody is out off of your property and threatening you, you can just stand there and say, "Hey, please pass my home. We don't want trouble
You,
here."
you don't want to make me angry.
Right. You won't like me when I'm angry. And then when they step foot on your property, then that's it. They've foregone their rights once they try and trample on yours.
Yeah.
And when they get on your property, then it's not a bad idea to take that first line of beanbag, give a warning.
Go. You need to leave
that
now,
you
or
need
I
to-
will fire.
Yeah. And then
You
at the
won't shoot me.
beanbag,
And aim. I highly recommend
Yeah.
aiming for the crotch.
aim for the
especially on men.
crotch. Absolutely. aim for the crotch or the ribs. And you hit them with a beanbag, and then if they still have the audacity to get up and come forward even closer to your home with a
Or if any of their other
fire
compatriots
or-
decide they're going to be brave too,
right, then
they'll
you
probably
switch.
rethink that.
Yeah.
I would think an
I
armed
think they
line would
rethink.
probably stop people from coming into a street anyway.
I'm telling you, they'll crumble at the first sight of resistance.
It's like with the McCloskeys. The fact that they had those guns there might
No,
have
it
kept their
stopped.
property from being damaged.
There's no question. Just listening to, they were being threatened. And I'm amazed. It just kills me that the media continues to lie. The Democrats continue to lie and say that it was a peaceful protest. It was not a peaceful protest. Those people broke into the neighborhood.
They broke a steel gate
Into
to
the
get into a
neighborhood.
private neighborhood to walk
And
protest
yeah,
on a privately maintained and constructed street.
street.
This was not a public road.
No, it was not a public road. And then they stood in front of the house and started saying, "We're going to take your home. We're going to burn your home. We're going to kill your pets." Those are threats. And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
if you threaten to kill my dog, you might as well be threatening to kill a family member of mine.
You're going to
And
make
it's not
the
gonna
John Wick
fly.
look like a Disney film.
Exactly. You're right.
Just remember, that whole thing started with one killing of one dog.
One dog.
And that's about where I stand on that. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. You mess with my dog?
Yeah. My dog is a member of my family.
That's
and you
right.
threaten the dog, you're threatening me.
That's right. And,
And,
that will not happen.
And-
that will
and
not
that's-
stand.
It's not going to stand, and that's what they did to the McCloskeys. And the Democrats are beside themselves because the McCloskeys are speaking at the Republican convention.
Okay, we're going to have to.
Wait a second, I got a question
Oh, good.
for y'all. Let's see, you said you had a couple of dogs?
I have a dog. Yeah.
A dog. Is it a Brazil or a Pelosi?
It is neither one of those. I have a fine-looking dog.
How dare you compare a dog to those disgusting creatures? That's an insult to dogs.
That's an insult to dogs everywhere.
Well,
And I-
is it a female dog? It could be a Brazil.
Well, this is true, and I'm not going to say that word. But yes, I know exactly where you're going. And on that note, we're going to go to a break.
Are we ready for a break?
Want to give your family or loved one the perfect gift? Then go online and check out the TornadoBodyDryer.com. I love mine and the warm heat air massage it gives me after my shower. The Tornado Body Dryer is super. You'll love it, and you'll love having one in your shower.
This is David Donaldson with the Atlanta Healing Center, conveniently located in Lawrenceville, Georgia. At AHC, your success is our goal. Addiction recovery is about more than just not using. It's about becoming a whole person and addressing all aspects of your physical, psychological, and social needs. Please call us at 770-696-9862, or you can reach us on the web at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
This is America's Web Radio. Would you like to have a show, talk about your business, or express your opinion on America's Web Radio? Just email gm@americaswebradio.com and we'll get back to you. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Roger B. You're listening to Locked and Loaded, and you're listening on America's Web Radio. And to my right, special co-host today, Victor Armendariz from On Point with Victor.
Guns, guns, guns. What,
That's right.
I mean,
Guns, preparedness, attacks, defense.
There's nothing better to talk about. I mean,
my weapon. None of my
it.
weapons are assault weapons. They're all defense weapons.
All defense weapons.
I'm not going to shoot any. I'm not going on the attack.
I have small defense weapons, medium defense weapons, large defense weapons.
Well, yeah, we were talking about dogs before we left. I mean, who would not defend their dog as if it was a family member?
Right.
That is crazy.
Right.
Everybody would, I think.
I would think. I mean,
cats, on the other hand, I don't know. They pretty much fend for themselves anyway.
Yeah, they're right. But
a cat would run away.
You would think even the leftists would defend their dogs or pets because they're
pussy cats.
Right. I mean, we're talking about. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, don't go down that road.
So,
I shouldn't have even opened that door.
So we will let that, as they say. Ooh, I'm going to come up with a sports analogy. As they say in golf, we're going to let that lie.
Okay.
I think I got that right.
I thought they let sleeping dogs lie.
Something like that.
Cats, you just don't do anything
you
to
don't
them
do
because
anything
they own
cats,
you.
Come on, cats are useless. Sorry, cat owners. Well,
I'm sure they're fuzzy and warm.
Except for the ones that taste like chicken.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's cat, the other white meat.
The other white meat.
Oh, no. Anyway,
let the emails fly. Let the emails fly. Roger at americaswebradio.com.
Throw me under the cat bus. Just because I own that book, 101 Things to Do with a Dead Cat, does not mean I don't like cats.
Oh, man. Yeah.
No, but anyway, so in Kenosha, this little town in Wisconsin, there was a shooting that is still in question. And I honestly think something was not right there. They shot a guy 7 times in the back. But he's not dead.
He's not dead. Now, I will say it is pretty amazing that
something
he's
for either marksmanship or his durability. I don't know which.
I'm glad he survived, and I hope to get to the bottom of this. But they burned that town down without knowing the facts, and our own media is only showing part of the video. It took a foreign media outlet this morning to play the entire video. And you cannot make a judgment on this case until you watch the whole video, and then you need to know the background of the perpetrator.
Well, if I might add in my 2 cents worth here,
We'll take 6 cents.
We'll take 2.5.
I've told Roger over and over and over again, those rubber bullets just don't penetrate like a hollow point.
No, they don't.
But apparently, there's still information being strewn everywhere as far as, what he did, if he had a weapon. He supposedly had a warrant out for his arrest for some other charge.
And there was a fight, there was a struggle, and then he went back to the car when he was told not to.
And he opened the door even though he told him, don't open the door, don't go back in the car.
And he is known
supposedly he said, I have a gun in the car, I'm going to get my gun, and then they shot him.
He's also known all the way back to 2015 to have weapons on his person, on his car.
Illegal weapons.
So, and you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care how much you think you hate the cops. A police, their job is to go home to their families. And if you haven't been in a situation where you've been in a fight with a perp, that perp is trying to get the best of you, and then that perp who you known has a warrant out or had a warrant out, he has a history of weapons in the car, that perp goes to the car, it's you or them. That goes through the mind of a cop. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. And is 7 shots to the back right? No, probably not. But this guy isn't an innocent bystander.
No, he was not somebody who was just out for an evening jog and
Exactly.
happened
He's
to get
not an
blasted.
innocent bystander. He doesn't warrant burning down a town. The child who was riding his bicycle who got shot in the head, that was an innocent bystander.
That-
You
yet
didn't
there's no
hear.
protest from that.
You didn't hear the media talk about it. They tried to bury the story. There was no protest or anything, no burning down of a neighborhood. And this man
Because
walked up to
sane,
this kid
rational
and shot
people
him.
don't burn their own neighborhood
Exactly.
for something like that. It's not going to fix
Yeah.
anything.
Right, exactly, which is what I'm saying. So
But right now, and that's what I'm saying, you need to be prepared, not just for calm, rational, probable circumstances. You need to be prepared for the unforeseen circumstances, the crazy stuff, the off-the-wall nuts. I never thought this would ever
Oh,
happen
man.
in my state stuff.
And let me tell you, no matter how prepared you are, you're never prepared for what's actually going to happen.
Right, and that's the thing. All you can do is train and
Yeah.
train the best you can, and figure stuff out.
mean-
Oh, speaking of training,
Oh, yes. Let's talk
okay, we're
about
going to get to
training.
this. This is a good one. Okay, so there are lots of training centers, places that provide weapons training and gun training, and a lot of times, I don't know if any of you have done this. They make it like a scenario. Like there's one I went to. You they have a door sitting in a door frame. You bust the door open, and there's a room there with some people in it, and you have to decide who are the bad guys, who are the good guys.
Yes.
There's one where you're shooting through a windshield, like we're sitting in a car, we're shooting through the windshield out. And so there's this Texas company, Texas, of course, in Pleasanton,
course.
Texas.
Yeah, it's pleasant there.
They're a training company, Reality Defense. Okay, so they're coming up. So they're trying to come up with a fall training lineup, and they're consulting, they're talking, and some guy says, I have an idea. Let's do Escape from Portland. So they're apparently
I
putting
like
this
it.
together to prepare individuals and organizations not only to survive, but to win in a violent encounter should it occur. So what exactly does the team have planned? Escape from Portland. Yeah, so it's like, it's going to be a fun event, they said. There's going to be 5 people on a team. And each team, they have a huge range there, 500-yard rifle range, all kinds of, broken down cars sitting in there on their training grounds and stuff.
This is great. We
So-
have got to book a trip to, what was this, Pleasantville?
Pleasanton, Texas.
No wonder it's called Pleasanton.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
Everybody's
you
armed, so
can't-
everybody's polite.
You can't get any more pleasant than an armed society.
If I were to guess, they probably charge for this experience.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I
sure
know
they
a
do.
place that you can go, and they won't charge for it.
Somalia?
It's called
Portland?
Survival, Escape, and Evasion, and it's in the Army.
There you go.
Again, it's Survival, Escape, and
Not
Evasion.
only do you not have to pay for it, you get paid.
You
Yep.
get paid.
Yeah.
And for
you can
4
find-
years.
You can find out what waterboarding is like if you get caught,
Yeah.
if you don't survive and escape.
Folks, if you haven't tried waterboarding, try it. Do it on yourself.
Get a waterboarding instructor.
And yeah, you should know what it feels like. Be prepared. Be prepared.
But so what they normally do at this place is they run what they call a 3-gun competition, which is rifle, pistol, shotgun. Now they're trying to turn it into a 5-weapon contest. So each member of a 5-man team will be assigned one weapon: an AR-15, a pistol, a revolver, a shotgun, and a crossbow. So they have to run a timed course of fire through junk cars and burning debris to help their team accomplish their goal: escape from Portland. Now,
This is great. And next, the movie needs to be written.
well, this
Escape
escape
from
from New
Portland.
York.
It's
I
got-
mean, come on, this
Yeah,
screams of Snake Plissken.
Oh my goodness, it does, and it's about time. We've only had 2: Escape from New York and Escape from New York 2, or
No,
Escape
LA.
from
Escape
LA.
from LA.
Escape from LA.
Yeah.
So it's time. It's time for a third one: Escape from Portland. Roger, I even think you and I could help write it. I mean,
Now,
it pretty
when-
much writes itself.
When do you think they're going to run a contest like this? When would be a good time to do this?
Man,
Halloween?
Halloween. Oh
Yeah.
man, I like it.
And there's a $300 cash prize for the first prize in the costume contest on the same day. These guys know how to throw an event, let me tell you.
That is awesome. We need to put something together like that for here.
We're going to take a break real quick. We'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to America's Web Radio, and this is Locked and Loaded.
The disease of addiction is a life-altering challenge, not just for the person suffering its effects, but also for the family and friends who support and love the one caught in its grasp. What should be the course of treatment? who is the best person to render treatment, and what is the best place to go for the care that is needed. We know that you want answers to these and many more questions. Call 770-696-9862 and speak to a representative of the Atlanta Healing Center. They can tailor a program specifically designed to address the needs of the person suffering with an addiction, or give you guidance as to where that help may be found. Information is the key, and the trained staff at AHC is here to assist. If you wish, you can also get more information on the website located at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Karuchak. Join me and my co-host, Dr. Hal Schertz, every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. and listen to the Doctor's Lounge, where you get a private insight into the conversations that doctors have amongst themselves. Join us Thursday, 8 a.m. every week.
Whether cruising the strip in a 57 Chevy or taking the family on a vacation in a 71 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, you need to tune in to Classic Cars with Steve Ronaldo and Jim Weber every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. on americaswebradio.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the americasbroadcastnetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Hello and welcome back. This is Locked and Loaded, and you're listening on America's Web Radio. And right before we left for the break, we were talking about Reality Defense Industries with their Escape from Portland event they're going to run on Halloween this year.
What a great Halloween event.
So, of course, in the first place is going to get the first place team will each receive a new Dreadnought Industries AR-15. The second place team each get a pistol. The third place team each receive a first aid kit.
Each individual member
Yes.
receives an AR-15?
Yes.
Man.
And the third place team each receive a first aid kit. Because if you came in third place, you're probably not doing too well.
Well, right. So you might need that first aid kit. So when are we putting together our team, and what are we going to be called?
Yeah, I don't know. That would be very interesting. I don't know if they said how much it was.
That is an awesome. Clearly, we need to take a Halloween trip.
Yeah, but of course, it wasn't long before the people, the Portlanders or Portlandias or the idiot liberals in Portland got wind of this competition and decided they're making a mockery of us peaceful protesters.
Yes. And what are you going to do about it?
But somehow this peaceful protest turns into a riot every night for the last 75 nights. How
90,
can that possibly happen?
90 nights.
90 nights. Whatever,
nights.
it's ridiculous.
This peaceful protest has somehow managed to burn down just
yeah.
about every business in
Here's one of the
Portland.
quotes. Leave it to a bunch of Texas racists to try and insert their microaggressions into our social battle in Portland. How dare they make a mockery of us? We're putting our lives on the line for freedom up here.
Wait till it spreads, because I'm going to
And the guy from Reality India says, oh, we almost shot a little whiskey out of our noses at that one.
it is so much fun to have fun with these anti-American leftist
And of course,
dirtbags.
this company has people of all races and genders
Of
working
course.
for them because anyone who likes this kind of stuff, they don't care.
Anyone who loves this country and appreciates the Second Amendment is going to love that.
It's more about
event.
mindset than it is race, and always has been with most conservatives.
Of course.
And even if you don't believe the same as they believe, that's okay. You can be somebody else. Apparently, with leftist, racist rioters, the burn, loot, murder crowd, if you don't believe the same as they believe, they're going to burn, loot, murder you, or anti-American fascist you.
Well, exactly. Look, the only party in this country that tells you that they're compassionate and caring and loving of all is the exact opposite.
Right.
The party, that
that's-
tells you racism is bad uses racism to get their message across.
They started the KKK.
I mean,
they
it's
support
just-
the
it's
BL,
amazing.
the burn, loot, murder
Burn,
crowd.
Loot, murders, the Antifa.
They're doing the
support-
same thing just years later.
Go look up Biden's manifesto. You go look up the Biden-Sanders manifesto and tell me it doesn't look and
wait.
resemble
I have
the
a quote.
communist manifesto.
I have a quote from Biden. Stand by.
All right. And,
Okay.
it's always good to get a quote from Biden.
This is from 1977, so it's old. But Biden said, quote, integrating black students would turn schools into a jungle, a racial jungle. I don't want my children to grow up in a jungle.
Yeah, that was Biden.
That
the
was
Democrats.
That was your Biden guy.
Yes.
That was him.
Biden,
So,
who's never been a Republican in his life, so he can't blame the Republican for being racist for making those comments. He made them. And he was coherent back then. He knew what he was saying.
And now I've also heard that someone was comparing the Titanic to California. They're both sinking, only the Titanic had its lights on while it went down.
Yes, California will not have their lights on.
California's having a little... How can they have a power problem in the middle of a pandemic when nobody's going to work?
Look, this would have been the best year, should have been the best year for California since they're holding everybody hostage. But then again, they're putting people in their homes, and now they're telling you can't leave your home, but you're not going to have power in your home.
Right. So you have to stay there, but you can't have air conditioning or wash your clothes
there,
or
but you're not going to be able
food.
to have power. I guarantee you, the elitists in California, Pelosi, Newsom, and the rest of those bozos, never will lose power.
So what you have to do basically is buy a generator that runs on gasoline to power your house.
Well,
because they can't provide, because their clean energy initiative, and I'm air quoting that, does not work.
I believe just today or yesterday, California in their rush has put a pause on their rush to shut down certain power plants because they wanted to be clean. Well, now suddenly they're firing them back up.
Well, yeah, because they can't provide what people in California need, and you can't run industry without power.
Your bird-killing windmills and your beautiful mirrored planks aren't going to create enough power to
run the state.
It's just not going to happen.
If it was enough, they'd maybe be able to power their brains with it, and even that doesn't seem to be working.
No. I think they've overdone it with solar power, but they're frying their brains.
I mean, come on. If brains were gunpowder, these guys wouldn't have enough to blow their nose.
Well, isn't that the truth?
But anyway, let's go to Chicago real quick. Let's see what's going on there.
Let's go to Chicago.
Apparently
Chicago
the mayor
has great
Lori Lightfoot.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she looks like Beetlejuice, I know. I didn't mean that. Yeah, maybe I did. Anyway.
I would say Beetlejuice 3 times, but I'm afraid she'll show up.
She'll turn up.
And I don't want her showing up unless she's got a roast beef Italian sandwich, because Chicago has the best.
Yeah,
so there are some good things to Chicago.
And the hot dogs are okay.
It ain't the pizza.
No, it ain't the pizza.
Sorry, you Chicagoans out there. It ain't your pizza, but your roast beef sandwiches, second
untouchable.
To none.
That's right.
Second to none.
New York, I think, has the pizza thing locked down pretty good.
New York's got pizza down to it.
But anyway, so she's diverting hundreds of cops from neighborhoods to downtown to help quell some of the violence or keep control. Oh, except one neighborhood. Mm-hmm. One neighborhood is leaving cops in place. The neighborhood she lives in is maintaining their cops there.
She has 100 cops that she's pulled off duty to police her neighborhood. And when asked, somebody actually had the audacity to ask her. She looked at that reporter and said, well, I have the right to protect me and my wife and my neighborhood with guns. But you, the citizen, you don't have that right.
We don't have enough police for you.
In her mind, you don't have the right. So there is a document, Roger, I seem to remember and recall.
Oh, yeah.
There is a document.
Guys got together a couple hundred years ago and wrote something.
They wrote something, and it said something to the effect that all people, not government, but the people, have the right to defend themselves with weapons and guns.
Oh, yeah.
But in her eyes, you do not. You, the citizen, you do not have the right to defend yourself.
Well, the fact that she's pulling the cops from all these other neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Now, these neighborhoods probably pay more taxes than people downtown do.
No kidding. No, of course they do.
And all their taxes are not being used to provide protection for them.
100 cops to protect her.
And her neighborhood.
100. And yeah,
so
she says her neighborhood because she thinks it's not going to sound as bad.
Right, but we all know what that means.
But we know what it means. It's her home.
Arrogant.
Yes. It's good for the... Look, folks, I've said it before. Socialism is not for the socialist. It's for you. And what's good for you isn't going to be good for the politician.
But this is just another example of elitist priority. What do they call that?
Who think they're worth
privilege.
More than you are. Oh, gosh.
Elitist
you want to talk about
privilege.
You know... I laugh at the thought of this ridiculous construct of white privilege. That's just BS. You want to talk about privilege, then we need to talk about political privilege. Oh, man.
I mean, my God.
Supposed to serve and represent the people of this country.
And yet it's funny because they just broke up one of the biggest pedophile rings in history, and yet the media is completely ghosting on it.
Yeah.
You can't get anything about names coming out, who was on this island with these inappropriate things going on.
What happened to Me Too? What happened to Believe Her?
Yeah, what about Biden has a rape charge where someone actually filed a police report
Yeah.
30 years ago against
Yep.
him. It's still on file.
His running mate said just a few months ago she believed the accusers of Biden, and now she doesn't believe the accusers.
Well,
This
that just goes to
woman-
show she'll do
this-
anything for power.
Absolutely, like most Democrats will.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, it's just,
and
it's
if
ridiculous.
Biden gets elected, where did that go
Yeah.
now? Oh,
Bite your tongue.
if by some crazy chance of postal fraud he gets elected,
Well, if it happens, it'll be because of postal fraud.
he is going to reinstate the assault weapons ban without a sunset this time. He's going to make it more strict. He's going to make it more all-encompassing. He's going to put a lot more weapons on his quote-unquote assault weapons ban. This is pretty much going to mean anything. And they probably will limit magazines to less than 10 rounds, although I wonder how that's going to turn out. Because just last week in California, the Ninth Circuit upheld
That's right.
Judge Benitez's ruling that said California's magazine ban was illegal.
And they have about 5 days to.
Is it from the 30-day mark?
I
Yeah.
think so.
They have to file an appeal or
Is
do
it
something.
30 days from when the court upheld, or is
I
it
think from
30
when they
days?
upheld.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it was more than 30 days from
Then
the
we've
time
got
he
more.
made the
Okay,
decision
okay. Then
to
we've
the
got
time
more.
they reinforced it. So now
They got a little
it
more
started
time.
the clock again. They got a
Yeah.
few weeks left, though. And if they don't file anything, it becomes California opens
Hey.
up to all magazines again.
And all magazines will be gone because they're going to all be going by boat, by air, and by postal service to California.
By Pony Express carrier pigeon.
If it can carry a magazine bag,
Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, because in 1 week when they had the Freedom Week, it was 1.4 million magazines shipped into the state in 1 week.
1 week.
Could you imagine if that whole barrier? Now, granted,
Now,
people may not be as panicked because they'll know it'll be from there on out. But
Right. But they have to expect that it'll be overturned at some point. So buy yours
know,
and
will
buy
it?
yours now. Well, let's hope not.
If it's-
And the more judges Trump puts on the bench, the more the Second Amendment will be
That's what
upheld.
I'm thinking. If it doesn't,
So
that's what I wanted. I wanted to get Mark the Shark on the line today, but he apparently was unavailable.
Was he in court?
I don't know. I didn't hear back from him, but I wanted him to
Mark,
let us
if
know.
Mark, if you're out there listening, which I know you are, unless you're in court,
He might be.
give
in
us
court,
a
yes.
shout.
Because I want to know if a federal judge in a circuit court rules something and it doesn't go to the Supreme Court, they don't appeal it. Does that stand as law of the land, federal law,
I think it should. I think
or does
it will,
every state have to
it
have a
will-
lawsuit on their own and go to their own district court?
It will stand until somebody challenges it for that state.
Oh, so
I don't
other
think it's gonna
states,
be,
it won't apply to other
I
states.
doubt it. Although,
But it sets precedent.
It is precedent, and precedent will rule the day.
Huh. So
There's
I
a
wonder-
fancy word for that I can't think of right now.
Some lawyer word?
It is a fancy word. I bet Mark would know it, and I'm
Fancy lawyer,
I'm
legal
kicking
Latin
myself
word.
that I can't think of it.
It's in a district,
But-
it can overlap
Well,
Yeah,
supposedly,
I-
if they appeal it from
yeah.
here, it has to go to the Supreme Court.
right. But if the Supreme Court doesn't hear it, then I think that stands.
Right, exactly right.
And
They're saying that
yeah.
that decision
And
stands.
if somebody challenges in another state, then they can use precedent from that standing ruling, and that precedent should stand.
So I wonder if other states will all of a sudden start suing their
That'll
states
be interesting.
to get magazine
That'll be
bans repealed
interesting.
everywhere.
Now, with
Hey.
all this legal knowledge that you're putting out, do you know where you're sending the bills?
Sending the bills.
Which
For
bills?
your knowledge of the
Oh,
law
right.
and,
At least $250 an hour.
I am not a lawyer, and I don't even play one on the radio or TV.
That's why we were trying to get Mock the Shark to call in.
Yeah, we're spitballing
We're
here.
spitballing here, yeah. So, hey, I do have a bit of breaking news.
Ooh, some news.
Breaking news. Apparently, the I said breaking news, not breaking wind. Apparently, the all-knowing, all-wise one, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, apparently she says that the elephant symbol of the GOP should be immediately removed because the elephant is a compassionate animal, and apparently Republicans are not.
And what are jackasses?
So, yeah, what's that donkey thing they got over there?
Jack the ass. Yeah, well,
Oh, my God.
that is appropriate
So
for them.
Now they want to hijack the GOP's signal. So they try and hijack some of the verbiage when they're lying to the American people.
Right, exactly.
Now they want to hijack the elephant. I mean, man.
Yeah, but Biden wants to reinstate this. Now, I don't know if you remember, but he was one of the ones who constructed the original assault rifle ban in 1994.
1994.
And it was for 10 years. Thank God it had a sunset on it.
Well, the only way they got
George Bush just said, "Oh no, we're not renewing that."
And that was probably one of the best things that George Bush did.
And he flat out said, "And as president, I'll ban these weapons again."
Yeah. Well, come on. He also said he would appoint the fake Hispanic O'Rourke as his anti-gun czar.
I know.
And then you've got Harris, who is apparently the fake African American. I think I can say that
she's
because
Indian and Jamaican.
She's Indian and Jamaican. She has said she will, by caveat, by some type, where she's going to derive this power, I don't know.
She has a phone and a pen.
She exactly right. She thinks.
I would venture to say in bed.
Yeah, well, maybe so.
A
Because
barrel.
she did have some power there. But she thinks she's got
She's
this.
good at manipulating the barrels.
Yes, she is. So she thinks she's going to have the power to just confiscate and deem your weapon illegal.
Has she ever
Second
even
Amendment
read
be
the
damned.
Constitution?
Clearly not.
Have any of these guys even?
Come
maybe
on, most Democrats.
it doesn't need to be rewritten. It needs to be reread. Read what it says.
You know,
shall not be infringed.
The United States Constitution is not a living, breathing document. It cannot run away from you. You can read it anytime you want.
It doesn't eat. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't breathe.
Eat, breathe. None of those things. You can read it anytime you want. And the Second Amendment is one of the most clear and concise amendments in the Bill of Rights.
If I'm not mistaken, it's also one of the shortest.
And shortest. Because it's concise and to the point. And the founders did this because they knew how government power could corrupt and how they would try and envision and try and change this.
It was the colonists just came from a monarchy which tried to take their guns away.
Exactly.
So they went, hey.
They said, we're going to make sure we're very clear with this. And that's why I say it's one of the most, if not the clearest amendment to the Bill of Rights in the whole Constitution. If you read the Second Amendment, there is no ambiguity. And then if just in case, if you are a Democrat and you're a little slow, then you can go read the writings of the Founding Fathers that led to the Second Amendment, because there's also no ambiguity there to what they were trying to achieve.
Yes. And for those of you who think it only applies to muskets,
Oy vey.
Then the First Amendment only applies to freedom of the press. Means if it's not pressed out on a hand-crank press, no internet, no radio, no TV, no electronic transmission, none of that's covered by the First Amendment.
Right.
But keep and bear arms is very specific.
Very.
Arms or firearms. And no restrictions whatsoever.
And the Founding Fathers didn't stop with, it is the right of the people, the citizen, to keep and bear arms. They followed with, shall not be infringed. There's no ambiguity there. Let me explain. Shall not be infringed simply means no one has the power to take your right to own a gun away. Period.
That's why I think the ruling in California went the way it did on the magazines, because that's considered
because we're getting
that's arms.
Well, any constitutional judge, any non-activist judge who sits and really interprets the Constitution can only rule in favor of those magazines.
You would think, yeah. And I'm so looking forward to seeing other states have this come up and have this eliminated nationwide.
It would be neat. It would be neat to see.
Although it will make some of my stuff worth a little bit less.
I'm willing for that to happen.
Because selling to those guys is crazy. They all buy that pre-banned stuff.
Yep, they sure do.
Oh, my. But we'll have to see how that turns out, because I would love to see the whole country open up and get more free again, because all that stuff started in 1994 with Joe Biden. A lot of states just held on to that even after 2004 when the federal ban sunset. A lot of these states just put their own restrictions in place right away.
Yep.
So, but if he gets in, he's going for the guns, and Kamala Harris is going to do the same thing.
And
I thought he was going for the hair.
Oh, well,
he might do that first.
The sniffs, yeah, he's going to sniff first.
He's always sniffing around somewhere.
But it's just it's crazy. So if Biden gets elected, expect shortages to become even more extreme than they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I actually went to a gun show this past weekend.
Woohoo! Where was it?
It was at the farmers market down in Atlanta.
Sweet.
So I said, "Oh, gun show! Let me go check this out." And so I went in there, and I'm looking around expecting to see, there were guns there. They had
guns
the gun
and more
supply was there. Now the prices were elevated.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not some of them were ridiculously high. Others were somewhat reasonable. Some of them were reasonable prices on some stuff. Ammo prices were all pretty high.
Yeah, well,
Even the stuff I used to be able to get $8-9 a box. The minimum price I saw on 50 rounds of 9mm was about $27.
wow.
For one that used to be like $8 or $9, $10.
Yeah,
So-
it's because they're not able to keep up with the demand right now.
Yeah, ammo prices are extreme right now.
I understand, though, at $27 a box, they do come with a color 8x10 glossy of AOC sign. And if you don't like AOC, they'll give you a glossy of Biden.
Or Pelosi.
Oh, wow. Yeah, shall not be infringed. Yeah, these are the guys who are going to take this away from you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it was there, though. There was a bunch of ammo was sold out, but ammo seemed to be the hot property. Because there were people selling guns left and right, though. I mean, everybody. You see these little tables where they sit down and fill out their 4473 forms. And every time I walk by any of those tables, they all had people sitting at them filling them out. So people are buying guns. Now, I don't know how many of these are first-time buyers. From what I understood, since COVID started, over 2 million first-time gun buyers have come forth and purchased their first weapon.
And on that note,
5 million now.
5 million. And on that note, Roger, I would like, as a public service announcement, I would like to welcome all these new leftists and Democrats who are buying these guns, who have a new appreciation for the Second Amendment.
Oh, that's right. You had a note about that.
I did have a blurb about that. I don't have it handy.
I'm going to find it.
If you can find it,
I think
it would be a good note to read, a good note to put out there for these newfound Second Amendment lovers, because a lot of these Democrats and liberals that are out there buying these weapons are coming in contact with the laws that they voted for.
Oh, this is Colin Noir.
Yeah,
he said, dude, he's an upright dude. Yeah,
He
if you
is,
bought a
he is.
gun in response to the pandemic and rioting, you just proved that protecting the Second Amendment is the most important issue in this election.
Yep.
Deny it all you want, but when you couldn't rely on the government to protect you, you immediately saw the importance of your Second Amendment rights.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
without a doubt,
all these Democrats in these blue cities who their police are being defunded, the police are nowhere to be found, the riots are being allowed to happen, BLM is out there looting and murdering. So they turn to the Second Amendment.
Right. And it's not just Democrats. These are even Republicans who never thought,
Right.
I don't really need a gun.
Well,
They're jumping into all these people who weren't that strong a supporter all of a sudden are going, you know what?
Yeah.
I need it now more than ever.
That's true, but I'm a little harder on the Democrats because they're voting against guns.
Yeah,
the
okay.
Republicans that don't have guns at least will stand for our right to have them.
Right.
Most of
Generally
them.
speaking, they will stand for the rights. You like it, do it.
But
If you don't
I
like it,
can't-
don't do it.
I can't tell you how many Democrats are out there that'll look at me in the face and
You
tell me
shouldn't
I
have a
don't need
gun.
my Second Amendment. That
Yeah.
that one doesn't need to be there. We don't need it anymore. It's archaic. Yeah,
Yeah.
give me a break.
Yeah, until what it
Give me
takes
a
to turn a
break.
liberal into a conservative is one good mugging.
A good mugging. That there's a saying out there that says most liberals are one mugging away from being a conservative.
That's right, or at least being a gun supporter.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's true. I think it's true.
I mean,
true,
that's
true.
that's what it takes sometimes. I mean, that's what it took the founding fathers. I mean, they had to pretty much get mugged by the King of England.
Exactly. And
To
mugged
realize,
they
hey.
did. The colonists, they put up with it for quite a while. And
But then when he
finally
said he was going to take their guns, that's when they decided, okay,
yeah.
this has gone too far.
Hey, look, even though we have canceling history going on, the truth should be told. And Paul Revere didn't go running through the streets or riding through the streets yelling,
The deer are coming.
Deer.
The deer are coming. The pheasants are coming. No, it was the men with the red coats
He
and the
said,
guns.
The British are coming, and they're coming for your guns. That is what he said.
Yep. So hide them, get them out of there, move them around, do whatever you have to do, because that's
Have
the
them get
only
lost in a
that's the
boating
only thing
accident.
between a free person and a slave is being able to defend your
To
rights.
defend your rights.
So
The only thing standing between we the people and an oppressive government is we the people can defend ourselves. In fact, in the Constitution in plain English, it is the duty of the American citizen to remove an oppressive government.
Right,
Now, I'm
exactly.
paraphrasing,
That's
but
why
it's in the Constitution.
That's why they started the whole country.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So-
They did it by demonstrating how to remove an oppressive government.
But if you're out looking for guns now, you may be a little too late to be able to be picky.
This is true.
I saw a lot of stuff out there. And I was kind of surprised. Prices, like I said, they were elevated. They're probably between 25 to 75% higher than normal.
Man.
But they're out there. So
They're
if
out
you,
there, though. You can get them if you have
If you
to.
wait till now, you're going to have to pay more
Well,
to exercise your rights.
We have some listeners in Florida, actually, that have notified me they're on the hunt for guns.
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
wish,
everybody
I
is.
wish them luck.
Yes, I mean they're out there, but and now at least in Georgia they have started running gun shows again, so they're out
Yeah,
there.
that's great to
Almost
hear.
every week now, from now to the end of the year, is probably going to be some sort of gun show, and as long as the supply keeps up, and most
Yeah.
local gun shops have a stock. Mm-hmm. I mean they haven't stopped producing them; they're still coming in on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So you're still able to get everything. It just takes a little longer. And it might be a little more expensive because they're rushing shipments and charging a little bit more because they can. They have to run extra shifts.
And
America's Web Radio has a very, very close friend that's in the business, and he just bought up another collection of like I forget how many, but a ton. And if you are interested in buying a weapon, drop me an email and I'll put James in touch with you.
GM@americaswebradio.com. GM@americaswebradio.com.
That may get a response.
And on another note, yeah, that it will. If you're out there and you're a Democrat, pacifist, anti-gunner, and you come across a family member or somebody who wants to dispose of their guns, I have a buyback program.
That's right.
That I myself have instituted. Just contact us here at GM@AmericasWebRadio or Victor@AmericasWebRadio.com or Roger@AmericasWebRadio.com.
You will
And
get coupons for
Yes.
vegan pizza.
Right, right. We'll throw in that for free.
That's right, as well as our buyback offer.
As well as our buyback offer. So come
We'll
to us
buy-
first.
We'll buy, my friend will buy collections. If you have you've inherited 100 guns from your grandfather or uncle, and
you want to get rid of them.
Yeah, and want to get rid of them, don't know exactly what they're worth, he will appraise them and give you a very, very fair price.
Absolutely.
And,
Me
There you
too.
go. Because right now, guns are gold.
Yes, they are. So I will give you pennies on the dollar, and you won't have to wait.
That's
You
right.
know, I will come and pick them up myself.
The last of the big time spenders.
Yeah, but right now, like I say, if you haven't got one now, or you think, oh, now if you're not panicking right now, but you still would think you'd like to own a gun in the future, I'm going to say wait till after the election.
Yeah, if you can wait,
If Trump,
definitely.
if Trump wins, I think the prices will at least stabilize.
Yeah, they will.
They're going to come around. They're going to stabilize some. There'll still be a big demand. It's going to take them time to fill the pipeline. All right. Well, that's all we have for today. I'm Roger B. This is Locked and Loaded, and you're listening to America's Web Radio.
And keep in mind that you can always go to our website and listen to Roger B's show, On Point with Victor, and all of our other great shows and hosts that we have here at America's Web Radio. So, until next time, you're listening to America's Web Radio.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
If your health insurance premium